Welcome back to 843 TV. We are delighted to welcome Beaufort City Councilman Stephen Murray. Now, let's help our viewers get to know you a little bit. Tell us a bit about yourself.
Yeah, well, thank you. I'm a Beaufort native, third generation Beaufortonian.
Wow.
Graduated from Beaufort High School
wow.
in the 90s. Moved away for a while. I own the kazoo factory here in town. We also have another company called New South Shirts. Married to an educator who works for the Beaufort County School District, and I've got twin 5-year-old girls.
Wow. Twin 5-year-olds. Wow.
Yeah, who are Witch and Cinderella today for Halloween.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Great.
so I moved the company back in 2009. For some reason got sort of excited about community leadership and economic development within the region, and sort of worked my way through a civic process, and then ran for council 4 years ago, and was elected, and been very proud and honored to serve the citizens of Beaufort the last 4 years.
Now, you used two magic words in there, economic development, and I know that's something that's very important to the city of Beaufort. How do you in the city define economic development?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I think, as a kid who grew up here, I have a handful of friends who would love to be back in the region, but we do have a relatively high cost of living as compared to a lot of other places around us, and we don't have a lot of economic opportunity, a lot of great jobs that allow us to live here for those of us who have to work here. So the city, we've prioritized economic development in our strategic plan for the last 3 years. And we do that by simply saying we're trying to encourage and help create the type of economic opportunity that allows citizens who have to work in order to live here, allows them that opportunity. We typically define that by primary industry, and so we break economic development into two job types or two industry types, primary and secondary. I happen to own one of each. So the kazoo business, for example, about 80 to 90% of our revenues are from outside of the state of South Carolina. We bring those monies into the community. The majority of them stay here and sort of go into the economic expansion of our community. My t-shirt business, on the other hand, most of those are local customers, and so it's just dollars that are already in our community, sort of in this washing machine that go around, so there's no real economic expansion. So where the government's involved in trying to encourage and help businesses expand, we really try to focus on the primary, with the theory being that as the primary industry sector expands, it goes down and helps the secondary expand. So around manufacturing, technology, back office IT, distribution, those types of businesses.
And those are what we are lacking in a sense in our area.
They are. So about 3 or 4 years ago, we pulled ad valorem property tax collections for manufacturing. In most counties in South Carolina, it's somewhere between 12 and 14%. In Beaufort County, it was 0.23 of 1%.
Wow.
So less than 1/4% in Beaufort County. So we've got a pretty big delta between most of our counties around us. And I don't think we'll ever be a huge manufacturing center, but I do think that there is some diversity there and some balance that we ought to work towards over the next few years.
Now, the Beaufort Digital Corridor is one of the initiatives. First of all, explain what that means. What is that?
Yeah, so the Beaufort Digital Corridor is something the city sponsored and championed almost 2 years ago. It's a partnership with the Charleston Digital Corridor, who's seen tremendous success in cultivating technology-oriented businesses. So we have a 5,000 square foot incubator co-work facility in Carteret Street called Base Camp. And so the Digital Corridor is around 4 tenets. So one is space, and that's our Base Camp facility where entrepreneurs, innovators, they have a great place to come and work, and so you can rent an office for a day, an hour, a month. We make it easy for you. It's a cool space with like-minded folks in technology. The second is talent. So we have Code Camp. So if you have an interest in website development or coding, you can take a relatively low-cost, sort of easy after-hours class. We also have classes for middle and high school students to learn video game design that are going on right now. The third thing is talent and community, and we believe that there is a technology community in Beaufort, an existing community, but they're very siloed. They're working in their offices or their homes,
right,
and they're not collaborating like we think that they should. So we have monthly networking, monthly classes, monthly discussions about business development or about technology. And the idea is if you bring folks in technology and innovation together on a regular basis, good things happen out of those conversations. And the fourth thing is capital, and that's linking some of our folks, investment folks in the community with these startup companies and startup ideas as they come out. So it's kind of a holistic approach to how we grow technology-oriented and innovative businesses within our community, because we think that fits really well with our goals for natural and historic preservation. It's their primary jobs. Typically have high wages that are associated with them. So we're 2 years in. Encourage your viewers to stop by Base Camp over at 500 Carteret Street. And it's BeaufortDigital.com.
All right, cool. Well, continuing along this conversation of business development per se, what's going on at Beaufort Commerce Park?
Yeah, so Commerce Park, there's a lot of activity going on in Commerce Park. We've got an expansion business that just moved in, Oliver's Bush Hogging. It's now Oliver's Clean Burn, so he's leased some acreage out there from us. Got a really cool smokeless incinerator. I think it's neat because we take tree and yard debris, instead of throwing it in the landfill where it becomes a problem forever, he brings it to his facility, puts it in this really high temperature incinerator, takes 100 pounds of debris and turns it into 2 pounds of potash.
Neat.
Wow.
Then we need to see that happen.
You need to go out there and check it out. It's a
Yeah,
really cool piece of technology, a really great business, and they're able to sell this potash for fertilizer and other uses, and so it becomes then a revenue stream for their business.
Cool.
Through our partners at Hargray and the Department of Commerce and the county, we're trying to get the park polished and ready to go, so we put fiber optic data so you can have some great broadband through the park. We bush hogged a lot of the sites through there so you can actually see the opening. And we're working with the developer through the Economic Development Corporation to possibly put up a spec building in the next 24 months. So a lot of activity out there.
There is, and you clearly have a passion and excitement for all that's going on, and so I guess things are going well in Beaufort, I guess you could say, right?
You know, it's exciting. I think we are early in the foundation of a lot of these economic development initiatives and activities, and so I don't think we can, stick our flag in the ground and say mission accomplished. We
Right.
still have a long way to go.
Work in progress.
But I'm confident that the city is behind economic development as a priority. I believe that we've communicated the reasons on why it's important to the majority of our stakeholders. And when you look at some of the census data that said we've been losing young people at a drastic clip, we continue to attract retirees, which is a great thing, which is not a bad thing. But I think a lot of the reasons why people move here and people continue to live here is because we're a real, authentic hometown. We're a real place.
Right.
Yeah.
And my nervousness is that if we continue the trends that we're on, we're going to lose that sense of authenticity. We're going to lose that sense of diversity that we're really kind of known for.
Right.
And so the economic development activities that we're working on is really to try to keep us who we are and to create opportunity for people so that they can live here. For those of us who have to work, because
Live,
a
work,
lot
and
of us have to
play, as
work.
they say.
We're
Right,
not
right.
all independently wealthy.
Well, thank you for sharing all of that very important information. We've got a lot more coming up, so stay right here for 843 TV.